So today I have the opportunity to introduce our 8th grade chapel speaker for today, which is Maddie Ferraro. Maddie joined Montgomery in 3rd grade, and I know that she has been a really nice addition to that class ever since she joined this 8th grade class. And one of the things that sticks out to me about Maddie is when I come across her, and other faculty have said this to me too, that when you come across her on the sidewalk, she makes eye contact, she says, "Hello, Mrs. Kydell, how are you today?" And she's just got some joy and some energy that she brings to every interaction, and just a really positive outlook on life. I know from talking to Maddie that she is very service-oriented, and she has gotten involved with a group outside of school called the National Charity League of Valley Forge. And I actually know from some of her friends that she's convinced them to join that and get involved with it as well. But it always makes me proud when I see students giving to others and getting involved in the community. She plays field hockey, she's involved in the musical, she does a lot of different things, and she's a rock star. So I would like to now invite her to the stage. I think she's going to talk to us about bravery and courage. So welcome Maddie to the stage.
Good morning, faculty, students, and guests. My name is Maddie Ferraro, and I have been at Montgomery School for 6 years now. My chapel today is how bravery and courage can change and inspire the world. I have always thought of myself as a very brave and courageous person. As a matter of fact, my parents tell me that I was brave and courageous even before I was born. Let's go back to the beginning. When my mom was 20 weeks pregnant with me, they found out through an ultrasound that I had a congenital cystic adenoid malformation, or an easier way to say it is CCAM. This means that I had a tumor growing in my lung. My heart was shifted in my chest, and that's how the doctors found this. These tumors are very rare, and only about 200 babies per year are born with CCAMs. The first 2 doctors my parents went to have never seen this lung tumor before in an ultrasound. My parents then went to the Children's Hospital of Philadelphia and met Dr. Adzik, one of the top pediatric surgeons in the world. He told my parents many times while they were at CHOP that babies who have birth defects and have surgery at a very young age grow up to be the bravest and strongest people that he has ever met. I stayed in the NICU for a while and then had 2/3 of my right lung removed when I was 9 weeks old. My parents tell me all the time what Dr. Adzik said, and I believe that one of the reasons I'm so brave and courageous today is because of what I went through when I was younger. By the way, an interesting fact is that lungs continue to grow until a child is 9 years old. So both of my lungs are now the same size, I just don't have the middle and lower lobes in my right lung. I often think about how brave and courageous Dr. Adzik is and how he saved my life. This got me thinking about how many brave and courageous people have changed and inspired the world throughout history. Now that I've talked about myself, what about more famous, well-known people around the world who have used their bravery and courage to change and inspire the world? I'm definitely not famous, but many of you will know some of these names of the brave and courageous people who have changed the world for the better. Before each historical person, I'm going to read a quote from them, and if you know who it is, raise your hand and tell me. Okay, so let's start out with this first very well-known person. His name starts with an N, and he served as president from South Africa from 1994 to 1999. His quote is, "A winner is a dreamer who never gives up." Can anybody guess who this is? Mrs. Brown? Yes, this is Nelson Mandela. He was the president of South Africa from 1994 to 1999, but getting there was definitely not easy. He was a civil rights leader in South Africa. He fought against the apartheid, a system where non-white citizens were segregated from white citizens and did not have equal rights. He was considered a terrorist by the South African government. He was even sent to prison. He served 27 years of his life in prison for his protest, but then he became a symbol for his people. He then became the first Black president of South Africa. Can you imagine being thrown in prison just because you fought for equal rights? It doesn't make sense, right? Many people would view going to jail as an embarrassment and a disappointment, and mostly everybody who would be put in jail would give up. But if he did give up, we would not view him the same way we do today. He rose above the odds and made life better for thousands of people in South Africa and inspired many around the world. He was awarded the Nobel Peace Prize in 1993 for his bravery and courage. All right, on to the next brave and courageous person in history. This female was a nun who spent most of her life helping others. She became a saint in 2006. Her quote is, "Peace begins with a smile." Can anybody guess who this is? Brady? Yes, good job. This is Mother Teresa. She's a saint for her reason, and her lively purpose is known by many. She wanted to help people more than she wanted to help herself, and this truly showed when she traveled to Calcutta, India, to help the poor and sick. She spent almost 17 years of her life there, which is one of the poorest places on earth, feeding the hungry and nursing the sick and dying. Her bravery helped many poor people around the world and made them feel loved and cared for. She always had a smile for everyone, and I guess that you can say helping people is contagious, because the many years that she spent helping people around the world, she created a group called the Missionaries of Charity. This is a group of people who follow her ways of life, help everyone, care for everyone, and be kind to everyone. Today, there are more than 5,000 nuns in the Missionary of Charity order. They want to keep doing what Mother Teresa has started. Her legacy of helping everybody you don't meet and everybody you don't meet stands with everyone today and shows the true value of life. She was awarded the Nobel Peace Prize in 1979. In 2016, she was named a saint. Being named a saint means that you lived a holy and a special life. A lot of people will know this person. She's most well known during the time of segregation in American history. She is mostly well known for not giving up her seat on a bus to a white person. Her quote is, "You must never be fearful of what you are doing when what you are doing is right." Yes, good job. This is Rosa Parks. She is very well known for not giving up, but also for being extremely brave and courageous. Rosa Parks was a civil rights activist in the 1950s. And in 1955, when she was asked to get up out of her seat because of the color of her skin to let a white person sit in her seat, she said no. No is all she said. She believed that she or anybody else should not have to be punished for the color of their skin or their appearance. Saying no is hard, especially because she knew the consequences. She never gave up, but first, to never get up, you have to be brave first. If she said yes and removed herself from her seat, she would have spent her life not being brave and not standing up for what she believed in. If she got out of her seat like she was told, who knows what the world would be like today. It was extremely brave of her to stand up for what she believes in, and many people would have done what she was told, especially if they knew that they could go to prison for it. Being brave was difficult, but being in prison for the nights that she served used even more of her fierce bravery. It is not easy to be told what to do or that you are less than something or somebody, just because of the way you look. But being brave is a requirement in these hard situations. She changed many people's lives for the better because she was brave and strong throughout her lifetime. This next brave and courageous person is a young activist from Pakistan who was shot because she wanted to attend school. Her quote is, "One child, one teacher, one book, and one pen can change the world." Can anybody guess who this is? Yeah, good job. This is Malala Yousafzai. She was born July 12, 1997 in Pakistan. Where she lived, not many girls were allowed to go to school. Her and her family believed that education could do many things to impact many different people. In 2012, she was on a bus coming home from school when she was shot in the head by the Taliban. The Taliban is a terrorist group who do not believe that girls should be educated. She was severely injured, but this is what made her stronger. When she recovered, she became the world leader in the right to educate for all people, but especially girls. Her bravery and courage led her to the Nobel Peace Prize in 2014. Now she has created the Malala Fund, which helps girls around the world go to school and obtain an education to get them on the right path. Her passion for education never stopped, and now she is currently a student at the University of Oxford in England. She continues to work extremely hard for the 130 million girls who are unable to obtain an education today. On to the next amazing person. Who was the first man to walk on the moon? His quote is, "That's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind." Yes, this is Neil Armstrong. When I say his name, many of you would think of the first person on the moon. The moon is 238,900 miles away from Earth. It takes a lot of bravery to get up into a small spaceship and fly all the way to the moon, especially if nobody has ever done it before. He knew the dangers of going to the moon and even stepping on the moon. When people have never done something before, it can be really scary to be the first person to do it. The moon seems scary, especially when nobody could tell you what it was like, because in 1968, nobody knew. He educated thousands on what the moon was like, how it felt, the gravity, and so forth. He also taught many that bravery and courage can get you anywhere, even to the moon. If you don't try anything and let fear hold you back, you won't get anywhere. Going to the moon seems so out of this world, because it is, but how would you know if nobody ever tried? Neil and his crew pushed the boundaries and used their bravery and courage to get to the moon. Of course, being brave doesn't have to be going to the moon or traveling to a different planet. It can be small as well. But Neil Armstrong taught us how using your bravery and courage can do you anything, no matter how crazy it may seem. My last person is a female who is known for her New York Times best-selling novels, Harry Potter. She is currently 54 years old, and she thought of the idea of Harry Potter while on a train in a dream. Her quote is, "It matters not what someone is born, but what they grow to be." Can anyone guess who this is? Yes, good job. This is J.K. Rowling. She is the mind behind the very famous novels and movie series Harry Potter. When you look at her success of these famous books and movies, you may think that everything is perfect for her. What nobody sees are the difficult times in her life where she struggled severely. Growing up, Joanne, her real name before she put her name in pen, which was J.K., was poor and did not have many opportunities. She says that she was really teased and bullied growing up. Later in 1990, on a delayed train from Manchester to London, she dreamed of something that would change her life. She dreamt about Harry Potter and everything that would happen to unfold this story. She started to write notes on Harry Potter and put together a bunch of different ideas. While she was creating the book, a train of unfortunate events occurred in the span of 7 years. Her mother passed away, she got divorced, she struggled from poverty and struggled from depression. When she tried to get her first book of the Harry Potter series published, she was rejected 12 times. But she never let her hard times get the best of her. She used her bravery to continue to try and try again. She is the world's first billionaire author and is making people fall in love with reading the story of Harry Potter and watching all the movies. I don't think anyone around the world has not heard of Harry Potter. If she let the hard times and rejections get the best of her, she never would have produced such an amazing novel and movies all around the world. There are so many more brave and courageous people that I have not mentioned yet, such as Gandhi, George Washington, Walt Disney, Martin Luther King Jr., Harriet Tubman, Ruth Bader Ginsburg, and you. Everybody sitting here today is brave and courageous in their own way. Whether it's presenting first for a science project, going on a roller coaster, trying a new position in a sport, or even talking to the new kid at school, everybody shows courage and bravery differently, but it all depends on how you use it. Writing this chapel and researching all of these famous individuals was very interesting. Each person I talked about used their bravery and courage differently, but all in a good way. Nelson Mandela used his courage to help end apartheid and was a global activist for human rights. Rosa Parks used her bravery to help end segregation. Mother Teresa used her bravery to help love the sick and the poor and inspired many others to do the same. Malala Yousafzai used her bravery and courage to defy the Taliban and is now an activist fighting not only for female education, but for everyone's education in the world. J.K. Rowling used her bravery to overcome her hardships and produced a best-selling book series. And Neil Armstrong used his bravery to be the first man to ever walk on the moon, something that has never been done before, and the list goes on and on. We all don't have to be famous to show our bravery and courage every day. Who knows what bravery and courage can get you, and how it may someday change and inspire the world. Bravery can score you anything. We all have the capability to be brave and change people's lives for the better, so let's start being brave and courageous today. At the beginning of my chapel, I told you that I consider myself a brave and courageous person. I will continue to be brave and courageous every day, and I hope I inspire all of you to do the same. To end my chapel, I want to leave you all with a quote that I left from Winnie the Pooh. You are braver than you believe, stronger than you seem, and smarter than you think. Thank you so much, and have a great Friday.